What's up, guys, and welcome to today's video. My name is Nick, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the reason why I embarrassingly failed my July revenue numbers when it came to selling on Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, so on and so forth. If you're new to this channel, the thing that I do is basically buy things in person or online and then resell them at a profit on the internet. This model works great for me. I love it. It's super exciting to be a part of sort of that commerce, right? That online commerce. So let's dive into this. And I will first start by saying and kind of giving you the backstory to this, the reason why I failed my July goals when it came to selling. Okay. I had lofty goals. And before I share the numbers, I'll give you the story. I had lofty goals. The goal was to hit $20,000 in July, which was going to be a giant step up from my June. It would be almost double what I did in June. And then from there, continue on in the year. So about 3 months ago, I started having some trouble breathing. I couldn't get like a full satisfaction lung full of air. You know, that feeling like when you breathe deep and then release and you feel full in your lungs. I couldn't get that for about 3 months. And so I went to, my wife pressured me actually, to go to the urgent care. And so on July 4th, about midday, I went to urgent care. They checked me out. They did an EKG. They said, you seem really healthy. We can't figure out what the problem is. After a couple hours there, they said, look, you need to go to the ER on 4th of July, happy Independence Day, and get checked out in the emergency room because like breathing is a pretty serious thing. So I drove down the road to the emergency room. And they looked at me. They did chest x-rays. This was like in the evening time, like into the night. Chest x-rays, another EKG. They took my vitals and they were like, man, you seem really healthy. We just don't know what the problem is. So I scheduled an appointment with my primary healthcare provider. And her name's Dr. K. I went in there and that next day, they got me in right away because breathing is, I guess, important. They checked me out. They were like, they did another EKG. They did blood samples, a litany of tests. A battery of tests is what they called it. I remember that part. And they're like, we don't know what the problem is. They're like, you have a resting heart rate of 52, 53. You seem really in health, like in great health and good shape. She looked at me and she said, and this is like verbatim, you are one of the healthiest people that has ever come through our practice. You're basically going to live forever. I said, that's great, except I can't breathe. So they didn't know what the deal was. They gave me an asthma inhaler. They gave me some Claritin, and they gave me some kind of like prescription nighttime allergy pill, none of which worked. And so after 10 days, she said, call me back, and we'll kind of like talk about the whatever changes. So I called her back 10 days later, and I was like, look, no change. Still difficult time breathing. I don't know what to do here. And she said, it might just be anxiety. So are you anxious about anything? And I was like, look, yeah, sometimes, right? Sometimes I'm anxious. And I think as an entrepreneur and as self-employed and like with kids and family, there's always that super heavy weight on our shoulders that we have to do more, be more. Like there's deadlines to reach and whatever. So I was like, yeah, there's some weight on my shoulders and so maybe some anxiety. She said, take it easy. Like, don't pressure yourself. If you're selling stuff on the internet, like just let it sell. Don't pressure yourself. Don't beat yourself up. So I said, okay. Now, prior to this, you'll remember my goal for July was to source 4,000 books. And we did not reach that. I think in total, I hit like 450 sourced books, trying to take it easy. Whatever. The doc told me to go to, she said, find something that you like to do. Go to the lake and go fishing, since that's something that I love to do. She said, take 1 hour a day and go do that. And I was like, look, I love fishing. I don't have the time for fishing. I will spend 1 hour a day thinking about fishing, but like actually going and doing it, probably not going to happen. My wife actually forced me most days to go to Starbucks and just sit and read, or like I just went and like worked on my goals and my notes and that sort of thing, because that's relaxing to me. Long story short, feeling much better after relaxing for 3 weeks and hitting it hard now. But because of all that relaxation time and like trying to get my health right, I understand like the purpose for it and the importance of it. But at the same time, it like severely set me back and like a major speed bump. So I'm going to pull up this picture of my whiteboard that I have in my office. And guys, this is embarrassing, right? This is not a video I wanted to make. I think I recorded this. This is my third or fourth time recording this, trying to like get it out and like work through it, process through it, because it's super embarrassing to admit your failures. The reason I'm making this and putting up and just dealing with the embarrassment is because I want to make sure that those of you that are going through the same thing understand that like this is all part of the process. It's not always easy. You can't just grind 365 days out of the year and expect to be in a good, healthy place. You have to take a break at some point. You have to reset. You have to allow your rhythm to kind of like get back in sync. And so let's look at this picture of basically my money. Here we are in my computer. Hello. We'll pull this up. Just, reminding you, this is like embarrassing to me. So on the left-hand side, you see the numbers 1 through 12. Those correlate to the month, January through December. Then along the top, you see Amazon, Poshmark, Mercari, StockX, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, photography, and then down below that, consultation calls, because I quit photography in May. That was my last photo shoot with that. Affiliate marketing is on the right-hand side. And that's anything where I promote a product or service. And then when people buy that product or service, I am given a commission for promoting that item or service or product, whatever. On the right-hand side, projections versus revenue. You can see my projections, and then you can see the revenue. With this on the left-hand side, starting out at month 1, this was kind of like, it was more heavily weighted towards like what I wanted to make on Amazon. But then like the rest of this money also kicked in to help surpass that stuff. As I have continued on the Amazon journey, the other stuff has kind of like diminished as Amazon increased. So we can see that in January, there was a $1,000 goal, and then 3,005, 7, 10, 15. And then this right here is 20. And then in August, the goal was 30, and then 40, and 50, and 60, and 70. But I reset, and I know some of you are going to get on my case because I reset my goal and I dropped it a little bit so that I could, whatever. I always talk about don't reset your goal, don't lower your goal, up your work ethic. But because I didn't even hit the halfway mark with my actual revenue, I didn't hit the halfway mark of the goal. I decided I would reset, try it again, and then slower increments going into, through the end of Q3 into Q4. And so this is what it's looking like. A few of these months were heavy on the photography money, right? So, and it's worth noting when I had photography, almost all of that was profit, right? There were some expenses that had to come out of that, but it was heavy profit. Whereas Amazon is not so much heavy profit. It is more the, maybe 60 to 70% stays with Amazon, and that's all part of like the sourcing and all that stuff. And then your net profit is 30 to 40%, I would say. Yeah. So you can kind of see how those numbers rose. Overall, we did 837, 1600, 2400, 5100, 7400. Big jump to 11,700, and then pull back, right? And you might understand this, like in any market, there's always a correction at some point. And I feel like this was a solid correction because we did 6 months steady increasing growth with Amazon. And that's all I'm paying attention to right now in this video is the Amazon side of things, because as we build up the Amazon, the other stuff diminishes as it kind of fades out of my life. 6 months of steady, like stair-stepping growth, I think is really healthy. And then maybe a slight correction due to health concerns because I was pushing so hard for so many months. And then we pull back a little bit in July, and I feel like it's going to go stair-stepping again. boom, 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 boom for the rest of the year for these next 5 months, July, or rather August through December. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now. These projections on the right-hand side that are lined up equal out to $211,000 in revenue. And then this 52,886 is actually what I have sold in revenue. So projections versus what I've actually sold. Doing excellent. I think for 7 months to do 52,000 is great. And I think as we stair step the remaining 5 months of the year, we are going to definitely surpass the 100K mark. I would be really, really happy when we hit 150,000 by the end of the year, right? In actual revenue. You may not know this about me, but my idea of setting goals is I've adopted that Grant Cardone kind of 10X rule. So instead of setting realistic goals that you might accomplish, but probably won't because people can't really push as hard as they project themselves to, as long as you project further and higher, your body, you're like literally going to make your body push harder to reach those higher goals. So let's say you set a $10,000 goal for the year to make money, like the 10,000 revenue. Well, let's say you push 80% of the way, because to hit that 10,000, like you exert a certain amount of effort, but it's just not going to be quite enough. So you're going to hit 80% of that. Well, that's $8,000, and that's excellent. But if you 10X that and you do, instead of $10,000, multiply that by 10 to 100 grand, well, now you have a lot further to go, but you're going to exert more effort and energy. Let's say you only get 70% of the way. That's still $70,000 versus the 8,000 you'd have gotten if you had stuck with a reasonable goal. So that is the reason why I set astronomical numbers. I don't expect to hit these all the time. I do, I am pleasantly surprised and happy when I do hit some of them or exceed them. But sometimes, like on this month number 6, June, $15,000 revenue goal, I hit 11,938. Happy with that. I mean, it was a fail, but as I've said so many times throughout my channel, throughout my social media, throughout everything that I talk about, success is just a bunch of failures piled up and you standing on top because you didn't give in, you didn't give up, you didn't back down. I hope this has opened your guys' eyes to how I set goals and showed you that it's okay to fail once in a while, especially if it's your health, man. Like, you've got to stay healthy. If you are grinding 24/7 and you're not staying healthy, you're literally going to die young. Don't do that. We're not trying to die young. We're trying to build legacy. We're trying to build generational wealth. We're trying to change the world. We're trying to help people. You need your health for that. You cannot give what you do not have. So we are building this. Some people say build your empire, build whatever. Like, build it so that you can give some of it, so that you can keep some of it, so that you can pass some of it on. But if you don't build it, if you don't build your health, if you don't build your money, if you don't build this empire, you cannot pass anything down to anybody else. I hope this has been inspirational, motivational. I hope you guys don't hate me or judge me for failing my goals. This is, even though they're fails, I look at it as the wins. I find the wins in the fails, right? I could have failed so much worse, but we failed forward. We're always failing forward. Hope this video helped you guys. If it did, if you found value in this, I would really love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know how you're failing and how you're moving forward from your failures. As always, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you guys. If you haven't already subscribed, consider doing so and clicking that notification bell so that you are notified when I upload. And then maybe drop a like on this video if it helped you. And until the next video, guys, take care.